Welcome, wrestling fans. You got the show here, Bill Schuyler, coming at you for One Wrestling NXT review. Feels good to be back here talking to all you guys out there. I've been down with a hellacious case of the flu that has not wanted to let its claws release me, but I'm not going to let that hold me back anymore. What I'm doing here as well is this. Those who have been following NXT review and those of you who have been following me before know that my recent news broadcasts, if you will, for NXT has been a little bit of the scripted news broadcaster type, a little by the ropes, by the rules, by the letter. And I've decided to cut that and get back to my roots and just put this out there and talk to you like I'm talking to anybody else I would be discussing amongst friends, which I consider each and every one of you. And we're going to discuss and talk all about NXT's TakeOver rival, the fifth TakeOver in the NXT series. But first off, I want to give the proper shout-outs to the ones responsible for bringing me here each and every week. That would be first and without hesitation, that's right, the icon, the wrestling guru, the one, the only, Bill Apter at Apter1 Wrestling. You can follow him on Twitter, as you will each and every one of us. And you can also catch Bill Apter on YouTube at the Apter Chat. Do not miss anything that Bill Apter has to put out there, because he gives you his heart, his soul, everything that he has for as long as I can remember, since I was a young pup all the way up until today. And I want to give shout outs, of course, to my man, my primo, El Hero Mero Mero. You know him, Big Ray of Big Ray's Show. You could follow him at Big Ray Show on Twitter, along with his tag team partner, the Canadian Destroyer, Andre Corbeil at Andre_Corbeil. Them two, along with myself, you can catch at the Can-Am Wrestling Show. You also need to follow the Prince of the Podcast. That's right, New York City's own Billy Ray Valentine. You can follow him at the PW Hustle and the PW Hustle podcast. Some interesting, fun podcasting that you need to hear to understand and believe why he has become part of our family here at One Wrestling. Now again, we're going to jump right into NXT TakeOver Rival. This is a show I've been eagerly waiting for, but was a little bit hesitant to, because there was a slow build-up normally between these TakeOver events. This one was a bit rushed, in my opinion, and we wound up all of a sudden right up on top of Rival. And we're going to find out right now if that was worth being rushed, or if it needed a little more time for a little more seasoning and a little bit more build-up to excite the fans. And I want to tell you here, straight off from the boat, if you have not witnessed an NXT show, if you have not seen NXT takeovers at all, let alone the weekly one, and you are not part of the WWE network, I don't work for the WWE, but I call it like I see it. And you can't go wrong for $10 a month, $9.99 to be exact, where you get NXT each and every week, which is the best product that the WWE produces right now in its entire universe. That's right, it's better than Raw, it's better than SmackDown, and to be honest with you, their shows overall are impressing me more than their pay-per-views. And I know that's a big thing for some of you huge WWE fans to swallow. A lot of you are hesitant to watch NXT, thinking that it's minor league, that it's Bush League. Well, I'm here to tell you, take the time, especially right now in the month of February. It's been free, and if you haven't been taking advantage of the network at free, I mean, I don't know what more they can do for you. You get the whole enchilada with that. You get all the libraries. You get NXT. You get all the pay-per-views. And you get this month's Fastlane for free for the month of February. You got nothing to lose. Check it out. We're going to jump right in to NXT right now. And we opened up with Hideo Itami versus Tyler Breeze, the Prince of Pretty. And this is a match right now between one man, that being Hideo Itami, who I feel the WWE has been dropping the ball with, which unfortunately is not a surprising aspect to me, because they never seem to find that right niche for Japanese superstars, especially a global phenomenon like the formal Kenta. Alright, this is a man that inspired and gave movesets not only to CM Punk but also to Daniel Bryan. He is well respected and an influence to many wrestlers of his generation and generations that have come since. But I digress. With that, we jump in with his opponent for the night. That's right. As you know, if you've listened to me in the past, this is not one of my favorite wrestlers on the NXT roster, but he did impress me tonight. And that would be, again, the Prince of Pretty, Tyler Breeze, who did come out with a gimmick that he seemed to have swiped from TNA's Robbie E. You're going to steal something from TNA, Robbie E would be the last one I would do it from. But regardless, he came out with his selfie stick, filming himself as he always does coming down to the ring. We opened up with this match that took off from Jump Street. These guys took to beating each other from pillar to post, moves all over the place. Tyler Breeze taking advantage in the early goings of this match. Again, it was back and forth, but still a bit slow for my tastes. I'm really just waiting for Hideo Itami to unleash the full power that he's known for his entire career. And it seems that NXT has been hesitant to unleash that. We did see this finally start to open up as Hideo Itami began to unleash his powers of the kick. And he is well known as one of the strongest strikers and kickers in the business today. And he put that upon Prince Pretty, taking him to the limit with these strikes and kicks. But Tyler did not go down without a fight. Hideo Itami attempted what looked to finally be the GTS, which the crowd has been crying for since day one, and he's yet to put it forth, but was taken out with a super kick, or the supermodel kick as Tyler Breeze calls it. But it did not keep Hideo Itami down. No, Hideo Itami began to unleash the feet upon him once again and hit him with a running kick a la Daniel Bryan, and took Tyler Breeze out for the 1, the 2, and the 3, and your champion. Well, not champion, getting ahead of the game here, but your winner in this feud between Breeze and Itami was Japan's own Hideo Itami. I give this match, I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. Okay, I normally don't give rankings on matches, but that's something I'm going to begin to do here for their super shows. We have these matches here being called by Jason Albert, formerly known as Giant Bernard in New Japan Wrestling. You know him as Lord Tensai, and Prince Albert in the WWE. Corey Graves, former superstar here at NXT, who is unable to wrestle due to severe injuries he received in the ring. And Rich Brennan, is the new announcer here on NXT, and these three men appear to be gelling pretty well as announcers. Renee Young no longer part of this team, and I'm enjoying their play-by-play of the matches. Jason Albert is really fitting well behind the mic and will do great in bridging that gap if WWE decides to expand further with Japanese exchanged talent. We then had the match of the Super Squash Giants. We're talking kaiju monsters, if you will. Godzilla versus King Kong. We're talking Bull Dempsey from the Bronx up against the lone wolf Corbin Benson. Corbin Benson is undefeated. He and Bull Dempsey have had matches in the past, and Dempsey is 0-2 against Corbin Benson. I feel that Bull Dempsey, while he is a big, strong man with a lot of good power strikes, needs to work on his physique a bit. I'm not happy with the presentation that NXT has given him with his ring gear. He actually appears as what one might consider a fat Taz. I'll give that credit out to my man Ray, who told me that the other day and had me chuckling on that. But in reality, that's what he looks like. He needs to get toned up a bit, or to maybe they need to reevaluate his ring gear to bring out his assets and hide some of his detriments to his physique. Either way, he still is a beast in the ring, and him and Benson went at it, fist and fire. This was a no DQ match that really never took off with the abilities that one would have in a no DQ match here on NXT. They have not really struck out and brought that yet here down in Full Sail University as far as going for a street fight or ladders match, TLC, whatever you want to call it. And these guys, there were some chairs involved, but no real no DQ type of match, which is what I was really hoping to see. And what we wound up with was Dempsey taking control in the early goings in the match, taking out the big man, but Benson was not about to let himself go down to his first loss here tonight. Now, what he did was, out of the blue, he hit with the end of days, and he took Bull Dempsey out completely. 1, 2, 3, and you're undefeated. Corbin Benson goes forward as the man to beat here in NXT. Next up on our list, we have Tag Team Championship rematch. The Lucha Dragons trying to regain their titles against Team Bam. That's right, Blake and Murphy. Two guys that came out of nowhere, basically, stealing the gold through hard work and great ring work. And the Dragons are hungry and want them titles back, that being Kalisto and Sin Cara. This match, unfortunately, was hampered by a number of botches by the Lucha Dragons. Both teams seemed overly excited and needed to slow down and pace themselves a bit, as they just did not seem in sync for this match. This, again, I feel falls under the problem that this entire Super Show was a bit rushed. I'd have liked to have seen it possibly go maybe 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks of a build-up between all involved in this. But again, I digress on that point. The match went back and forth between the Dragons and Team Bam, and in my opinion, there was no doubt in seeing how the Dragons were just not on their game, that Blake and Murphy retain the NXT titles and go forward as your NXT Tag Team Champions. Who will they face next? Your guess is as good as mine. I'm expecting some type of new tag team to make its face come forward, or perhaps we can finally get, you know him, soft. That's right, Enzo and Big Cass. I'd love to see these guys. It's been a while since they've been in the ring. I'd like to see them going up against Blake and Murphy on a nice feud to help both teams help build and grow in the sport of professional wrestling here in NXT. Next up we have our number one contenders match. This is one I have been waiting for, and I know all true blue wrestling fans out there who have been fans not just of NXT but of the independent rankings of Japan, of Europe, are well schooled and knowledged in the former Prince Devitt and Adrian Neville. Prince Devitt now going under the moniker of Finn Balor. This promised to be one of the huge highlights of the night, possibly going for match of the night. We would see how that turns out. Adrian Neville comes out first, and then the lights, the music, the smoke, and the effects as Finn Balor comes out in full body makeup as he had previously, with that Marvel Comics Spider-Man Carnage gear with the giant mouth, the claws, the fangs. One of the greatest, biggest entrances in the business today. A definite thing to antagonize and intimidate his opponents. And I give kudos to the WWE, to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon for allowing Finn Balor to bring this with him from New Japan, from the independents, because it's something unique that's not been seen here in the States, especially in the WWE, in some time, anything similar to this. And it's just going to continue to grow, as Finn Balor, in my opinion, is going to be one of the biggest superstars in the company. That's right, I'm not talking just NXT, I'm talking in the entire WWE. A man that's going to have gold about him from as soon as possible here in NXT and long into his WWE career. This match opened up with a slow burn. It was not one of those fast-paced, out-of-control, high-flying matches that everyone was eager to assume would be the case. No, these guys felt each other out. It was a great wrestling match. This is not the first time these men have met in a ring, just the first time in an NXT ring. Again, I'll urge anybody and everybody, check out their work in Japan, check out their work in the UK, on YouTube or wherever you may need to find it, and see exactly what it is these guys have been doing for the past few years against each other and other opponents out there, to see exactly what it is they're capable of bringing to the ring and what they've not yet been able to unleash here in the NXT universe. This match went back and forth, these guys hitting each other with everything and anything, including the kitchen sink when it came to crazy, inventive moves. We're talking moves that were either on the mat, outside the ring, from the top ropes, over the top ropes. They did it all. Numerous 2 counts, kicking out at just the last moment, keeping that ring psychology going, people on the edge of their seats, not knowing who was going to pull this off. Would it be the former longest reigning NXT champion of 300 plus days, Adrian Neville, getting that number one contender spot and getting ready to strike back at the winner of tonight's NXT belt? Or would it be the upstart Finn Balor hitting that number one contender spot and facing one of two gentlemen who he does not have a long-standing relationship with. Well, let's just say this. Ireland's own Finn Balor, after numerous attempts in trying to take out Adrian Neville with numerous attempts trying to take out Finn Balor, it was anyone's guess how this was going to end, and it ended with a fantastic finishing move, the coup de grace. Finn Balor is your number one contender. Adrian Neville is out. Finn Balor is in. And this match I gave a 4.5 out of 5. That's right, 4.5 out of 5. It was not a perfect match. It was not the greatest match that I've seen these two men have against each other in the past. And I know that I should only be grading them according to NXT, but as a long-term fan of both men, I gotta call it like I see it and how I've seen it over the years. 4 out of 5. And definitely one of the best matches in NXT history. Now, our next match is a match that most fans tend to not want to see ladies' matches. They think it's time for a sandwich or a body break. Well, I tell you right now, tonight or any night in NXT, when the women come to wrestle, they're here to wrestle. And that means you don't get up, you don't walk away. You sit down there and watch, because you're going to get a wrestling clinic no matter which one of the women are involved in NXT. They are not divas. Alright, these are true blue wrestling female superstars of the future. NXT will outshine the divas every opportunity they get, and they did not disappoint tonight at Rival. This was a fatal four-way with the champion Charlotte Flair defending her title against Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Bayley. This was an unbelievable match, a wrestling match. That's right, pure wrestling. These girls took it to each other from beginning to end, in, out, over top, in between, and all around. They definitely made it known that they are the ones to watch. So much to the point that up until now, this is the match of the night. That's right. The women's match here at NXT has so far stolen the show, even eclipsing that of Finn Balor and Adrian Neville. I may get some hate mail for that. I might get somebody disagreeing. If you disagree, I look forward to your opinions. Leave them down below. Let me know your thoughts on this entire card. Let me know what you think about this women's match. Let me know what you think about each and every match, and don't be shy. Everybody's got an opinion, and I look forward to listening, reading, and responding to anyone that cares to take the time to let the show know what you thought about this match. This went back and forth. It's always a hard title defense when it's a fatal four-way for the champion, and this was no difference, as Charlotte Flair was unable to retain her title. I was under the my pick on this was Becky Lynch, and I unfortunately was wrong on this, and the take it to the bank. That's right, Sasha Banks herself is the new NXT Women's Champion. Oh, how times are changing in NXT. What will the title be like with Miss Sasha Banks as the representative for NXT? I cannot wait till next week to see how it all plays out and what the rest of the women's division does here in NXT. And now we get to the match that everyone in the wrestling world has been waiting for, whether they were NXT fans or not. We're talking about two gentlemen who have been friends and foes, wrestling each other for the last almost 15 years of their lives. On the independent scene, you knew them as El Generico and Kevin Steen, mostly and greatestly known in Ring of Honor, and a series of matches there that I can only beg you to check out, get a hold of, and see what it is these guys had done that brought them to the attention of Triple H and the NXT brass to hire these guys and bring them into the division. Two gentlemen that most said would never make it in the WWE universe, that they would never get signed for NXT. They didn't have the right look. They didn't have the right style. They just weren't that type of guy that they were looking for. And I'm here to tell you that they were 150% wrong. And they go at it each and every night, proving to their detractors that they indeed belong here in NXT. They belong eventually up on the main roster, holding gold and selling out asses in seats. And believe you me, these guys here, everyone, especially in these last 3 matches here on NXT, that being the Lucha Dragons, that being the women's matches, that being Baylor and Neville and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, are the future of the WWE. We open up again with your man that's been in NXT for only 2 months, the master manipulator himself, Kevin Owens fight, who has managed to finagle his way to a championship match 2 months to the day to his arrival on NXT television against his former friend and now foe, the one, the only Sami Zayn. Zayn, normally a pretty happy-go-lucky in-ring phenomenon, is perturbed, angered, disgusted, and betrayed by Kevin Owens. And you can see it in Sami Zayn's eyes when he got to the ring. And this match started out unlike a normal Sami Zayn match, with Sami going after Kevin Owens and taking it to him from the beginning. This match was ring psychology at its best. Again, detractors who said that these two guys don't know how to put on an old school kind of match, well, they had to kind of shut their mouths, put their eyes down, and either admit it or just be quiet, because these guys put it out there for everyone to see. They ran this match like nobody's business. This is one of the greatest matches that they have had in NXT. The ring psychology, the storytelling was unlike anything I've seen by anyone here in NXT. And to be honest with you, other than some of the real big guys with many years experience on that upper roster, I'm not seeing it by anybody else in the WWE. That's a big thing to accept. I'm putting it out there because I agree with it, and I deny anybody to tell me that I'm wrong. You watch this match and see the way that Kevin Owens just led and tweaked and did what he had to do to get Sami Zayn into the positions that he needed him to. That Sami Zayn was worn out, that he was beaten down mentally, physically, Kevin Owens took him to the limit. I agree where the commentator said that this was a violent match of ring generalism that had not been seen since Brock Lesnar and SummerSlam against John Cena, although not as violent and hard-hitting as that match. It was a close second, and I understood exactly where they were coming from in describing it that way, and I feel you will see that as well. This match went on, and it was something that got to a point that you just were pleased end the match. Zayn was just being beaten beyond description. Power bomb after power bomb after power bomb. The crowd itself was silenced. A crowd that was pro Sami Zayn in the beginning with the chants of Ole, Ole, Ole. And then the crowd slowly began turning into a 50-50 for fight Owen fight. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Sami, back and forth, and then finally it just got to the point with shock and awe on the faces. People not believing that Sami Zayn would not stay down. His eyes glazed over, looking to possibly be concussed. The ring technicians were brought out to take out and look at Zayn to see if he was able to continue. Owens would grab him and continue to powerbomb and pummel him. The referee stopped this match as Sami Zayn was unable to continue. And he got the belt and handed it to your new NXT champion, Kevin Owens. That's right, 2 months to the day since his arrival in NXT, and he holds the NXT title. Kevin Owens is your new champion in NXT, the fastest rising star ever in NXT history. And the question now is, who has the ability to stop this machine, this Sherman tank of a wrestler, a guy that not only can brawl, but he can wrestle, he can fly, he can do it all at 260 pounds. He does not look like that kind of wrestler. His number one contender now is Finn Balor. I don't see Sami Zayn being able to claim his rematch for some time, as he looks that he may be out for a short duration, overcoming the injuries sustained in this match. This match I had to give a definite 5 out of 5 because it did it all physically, psychologically. It was a fantastic match. As a student of these men for many years, I will tell you this is not the best they offer. And if that shocks you, then that means you got a lot to see down the road. And it's not just between these two. Both of these guys can bring this type of excitement in the ring to any opponent they face. I'm seeing a long, ongoing feud between Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, leading up to, and I'm praying and hoping to the wrestling gods. They're talking about the NXT wrestlers being able to make their appearance at WrestleMania this year, and I believe that WrestleMania, and the shape that the WWE is in at this time, needs that excitement level of the NXT universe to join the WWE universe for that WrestleMania event, to get their WrestleMania moment. I'm sure at the least we are going to see the NXT Championship being defended. I would love to see these guys continue and build their matches up, whether it be from no DQs, street fights, TLCs, whatever it's got to be, cage matches, you name it. This is a feud that's not going to end easily. It's not going to end quickly. Again, I am Bill Schuyler. I am known as You Got the Show at Twitter. Follow me there. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm always glad to hit you right back. Can-Am Wrestling Show. I do the Back in the Day segment with Big Ray and Andre Corbin. I will be getting back with my tag team partner, Billy Ray, with the One Wrestling Goes Old School. We've been out due to my illnesses and some technological problems we were having. We're getting ready to get back in the saddle at Old School and bring it to you, talking about everything and anything that got to do with old school wrestling. Don't miss it. I'll let you know on Twitter when we're ready for you guys to check out what we got to offer. Follow all of us again, from Bill Apter at Apter One Wrestling, Big Ray at Big Ray Show, Andre Corbin at Andre_Corbin, Billy Ray Hustle at the Billy Ray Valentine, the PW Hustle on Podbean and iTunes. And with that, as you always know, I'll catch you down the road, and we'll see you at the matches.